Hello and welcome to the Secrets of Happily Ever After podcast. I'm your host, Monica Tanner, and you guys are in for a treat because I have my friend Katie Runyan with me, and she is so very, very cool. We became friends, I don't know, maybe like 5 years ago
Exactly.
when I learned about what you did. So I don't know. I have so much respect for people who are creative and fun and think of really cool ways to keep monogamy hot. And so when I met Katie, I was like, we are going to be besties. And what she does is creates role play dates. So I am so excited to explore this and just talk about if you're listening this month, hopefully you are. We've been talking about how to get lucky, how to keep the spark alive, how to have really honest and intimate conversations. And I think that this topic is really going to help you if you're feeling like, I don't know, we've been doing the same thing for years and let's mix it up. So, welcome to the podcast, Katie. I'm so excited to talk about all the things today.
Oh, thank you, Monica, for having me. It's always fun being on your show.
Yeah. So I would love for you to just kind of tell us how you got started. I love this story about how you got started. Like thinking that role play dates or role play in general would be fun or exciting and like how that happened.
Okay, so ours story is a little bit different than probably the way we would suggest you to try a role play date, but it's our story. So we're always a little bit different, and I'm going to share it with you. This was when our kids were really young. They were just like 1, 3, and 5, and we were in survival mode, Monica. We were really not connected that much. We just gave each other all of our leftovers. Like I was full-time mom, thoroughly enjoyed it, loved every second of it. Well,
Right.
not every second, but it was very fulfilling to me. And then my husband was really working on his career. And then when we would get together, we would just give each other the leftovers. When he got home from work, he was tired. I was tired from the kids. We really didn't make a lot of intention or try to create, new experiences or even go on dates, really. We just gave each other our leftovers. So it wasn't great. Roommate syndrome for sure. And one time we were watching TV and he just made this like flippant comment of, "Hey, how come you don't dress up for me?" Because we were watching this iconic pop star and she was in this cute little like plaid skirt and she had her hair in pigtails. And I was like, that is the dumbest. Like in my head, I was like, well, why don't you do this for me? And then I actually kind of started thinking about it because my initial reaction was like, that's kind of dumb. And then I thought about it more, Monica, and I went inside and I thought, would it be fun to dress up a little bit? Would it be like intriguing to me? And I just thought with it and I sat with those feelings and I decided to do it. And I was crazy intentional. So I, procured the perfect little outfit for myself. I made sure my kids were asleep and he came home late from a soccer game, I remember. And he walked in the door and I was in this little outfit that he had no idea I was going to do. I was crazy vulnerable to put myself in the situation because there was no conversation about it, right? So, okay, if you can imagine you're not super connected and then he opens the door and there I am standing. Now, kudos to my husband because he was like pretty darn seamless. He was like, "This is awesome. This is the best thing ever." And it
He
was just
wasn't
kind
like,
of
what the heck are you doing?
no, his eyes were like big, like, oh my gosh, this is this fun woman I married. Like I forgot about her. And what it did is it was the catalyst to helping us want to reconnect, right? So obviously that was like a fun, unique experience. It was kind of like flirty and we had a really great time. But what it did after the fact was we were like, I'm going to flirt with him a little bit more through text, or we're going to be more intentional. I can remember him asking me out, like, hey, let's find a sitter for Saturday night and let's go out. So this was the catalyst for us to reconnect. Now, I would always suggest if you have great connection and then you add in the playfulness and the novelty, that's going to be really, really fun. But you asked for our story, so we're always a little bit backwards and we went for a little bit more fun and novelty that then just made us want to reconnect. And it really did. And what we found is if we would have these occasional flirty role play dates that just made us put a lot more of time, energy, and effort into reconnecting together, it was really hot and really fun. And we were like, we should like other people should try this. Like they should really try this because there's nothing else out there. Like I can remember looking up and Googling like role play scenarios and they would just give you general ideas, but I wanted something that gave you characters and completely immersive and like dialogue suggestions and all of these like unique surprises that you could implement into your role play date. And there wasn't anything like that. So we decided to create it. And I'm so glad we did. We've helped thousands of couples from all around the world just break free from monotonous date night routines, infuse some serious passion into the bed sheets, into the bedroom, as well as inject like mystery intrigue back into their date night because we lose that. There is so much beauty in long-term committed relationships. You know exactly who you are, who they are, but sometimes you want a little bit of like mystery and intrigue, and that's where a role play date can be super fun because you get to step into a new persona, and then it's fun to see them as well step into a new persona.
Yeah. So when I first started working with couples and realized like what a kind of an issue that sex was for a lot of people, I got with a sex therapist and we created a program that would kind of help couples kind of reintroduce some of the fun and mystery into sex because this is what I learned from her and I loved it. A good sexual relationship or good intimate relationship has two parts. You want safety and security and predictability, but you also want some novelty, some mystery, some newness. And it's like the two super contradicting ideas. You need a little bit of both. And
Right.
so, and then I studied more, got my certification in sex therapy and things like that. And I realized how really important this is. So that's what I love about what you do is because the name of your company, which we haven't even mentioned yet, is Faithful Fling. And so you're putting both of these two things together, faithful, which you've got a long-term committed relationship, two people that feel safe and comfortable and predictable, and they know that they love each other and they have this deep admiration for each other. But
Yes.
the fling part is what is so fun. It adds some novelty and some newness. And I remember when I was telling my husband originally about this idea, he was kind of like, that's weird. Why do you want to do that? And then I was like so insistent. So my husband and I have this thing like we do favors for each other. Like it's kind of like a jokey thing, but like I do favors for you, do favors for me. And so eventually at one point I was just like, listen, I've done a lot of favors for you. It's my turn. We're going to do a fling date. And it was like, so I was like, you have to be in the right headspace. Let's just make this fun. Like, let's just try it and make it fun. And it was whole like mechanic idea. I'm sure you know which date I'm referring to. And it was so funny because neither of us are actors, right? Like both of
No.
us were just like so awkward, but it became just so funny because it was like, for me, it was like, what is going to come out of your mouth next? Like I am so like hanging on your every word because he was so awkward and so funny, but he was getting into character as a favor to me, right? And so
Yeah.
we just had so much fun with it. And we tried to stay in character, but you'd go in and out of character, and like the character kind of reflects the things I do know about my husband. So you had both. You had the safety and security of I'm with the man that I love, right? Like I'm with
Right.
my best friend, but I'm also like having so much fun watching you do something new that you're not good at. And just, we had so much fun. Like that night was so just combination of all the things that you want.
Right.
We just laughed through the whole process. And that's so bonding. The chemicals and hormones that are released, it's kind of like your first date again, where you're just laughing and like everything's funny and you're just hanging on their every word because like what are they going to say next, right?
What
Like
are they going to say next?
exactly. And
It's those first date butterflies that we
yes,
lose because that's just part of being
because
married.
we've been
That's just part
together
of it.
forever, right?
Yeah.
And I always say, listen, if you are curious about your partner, you're never going to run out of things to talk about. But let's be honest, you can talk about the same old things, or you can like inject this every once in a while. I'm not saying do this for every
No,
date night, but like
no, that would
when
be a
you
lot.
do this at like a regular interval once every couple of months or something, it just adds so much. Like it's a pattern interrupt.
I mean, it does. When you are always doing something, even like if you're always cooking the same food or if you're always doing the same workout and you you throw in a new recipe, everyone's like, "Oh, wow, that was really good. Like that was great." Or you try a new like squat or something and the next day you're like, "Oh, I felt that in a different part of my body." This is just a different way to date your spouse. Again, we're keeping monogamy hot. It's a creative way. And another thing that we're really asking you to do is to tap into your erotic mind, right?
Oh.
So when we mean that, when I say erotic mind, it's that space deep inside of us where creativity, curiosity, and desire lay. It's our ability to get excited about a sexual encounter or, in this case, a role play date. And you're just going to be like, hey, I'm going to tap into mine. And hopefully you're inviting your spouse to tap into their erotic mind. And then when you can do that and you blend them together and you come up with these stories, situations, scenarios, it is like super fun, crazy hot. And also when you were mentioning like it's kind of awkward at first, yeah, it can be totally awkward and that's part of the fun. Like,
That
but
is
what if
part of
you
the
let go of
fun.
perfectionism, right? It sounds like you did the exact same thing. Like, what happens if you let go of it? What happens if you let go of like the people pleasing, like we're not supposed to do that mode? Like it's okay if you and your spouse want to have a role play date, do it unapologetically. Like, hey, have a fun time. No one needs to know. Like if you have a role play date and you go to a restaurant, your server doesn't know.
Yeah.
Nobody knows. And then you were mentioning you like kind of hop back in and out of character. That's just part of life. Like I can remember John and I were at a restaurant and then we look up and it was like our neighbors. We're like, I'm not going to pretend to still be like Lydia from the interview. I'm going to obviously be me and the subtle changes that you may take in to get into character is what makes a difference. Using a different perfume or, styling my hair just a little bit different. Maybe I'm using a different shade of lipstick. Or if I'm in the market for a new outfit, I'm going to debut it for a fling because it goes with that whole idea of like, he's never seen it before. I've never worn it before. It's just that novelty of it. That's like, again, don't discount the power of scent. Like having a cologne you only wear during a role play date, even if it's as simple as like the travel size lotion from a hotel, that's going to make a huge difference. Wearing like blue light glasses, that's just going to change up your face a little bit. Just small things to help you feel more into character is what's going to make the role play date or what we call flings even more authentic. So, yeah.
Yeah, I love this so much. How do you recommend, like, okay, so I'm guessing that people are listening to this podcast not with their partner, right? They're running errands, they're at the gym, they're doing the thing, and they're like, maybe this would be fun. Because it does require both partners to get in,
Absolutely.
right? So the way it works is you send the script for the woman and the script for the man separately. And so like you're each kind of in character on your own, and then you kind of play this out together on the date. And so
Yes.
how would whoever is listening to this episode and is like, I should bring this up to my partner. This could be fun. How do
Yeah.
you suggest they do that?
Well, a great way would be to listen to the podcast together, right? Or
Okay.
just send them
Yeah.
the link. Like, hey,
Oh
take a
yeah.
like listen to this. But
That's so
another
simple. I
one,
didn't even think of it.
oh no, no, no. Another one is like you're I'm going to hope that you're having really great communication about everything, including your desire to maybe incorporate something new in your date life or in your sex life. So this could be something like if I'm going to talk to my husband, I would say, "Hey, John, I really love our sex life and I'm always looking into new fun ideas and to make it feel fresh. I just came across the idea of a role play date. Would you like to learn more about it with me?" And then that's when you could, tell them like, hey, we just kind of step into new personas and incorporate all of these different ideas and then we blend them together and have a date together. And then here are some questions that I would suggest that you might ask them. Will having a role play date be enjoyable for both of us, right?
Right.
Will it be a connecting and pleasurable experience? Are we both excited about the idea? Now, this is kind of one where oftentimes one spouse could be more excited than the other one. For example, favors. Would you be willing to try it with me? The
Yeah.
first date is 100 is free for 21 days. So even if you canceled within those 21 days, you still have that role play date. So it's yours forever. But you just ask questions like that, like, are you willing to try to tap into your erotic mind and blend it with mine? Also, if you never ask, you'll never know. Like, so don't assume that they don't know. And one thing that I like to mention is your willingness to even have a role play date speaks so much to your spouse because it says, hey, I'm willing to be crazy intentional with my time, energy, and effort to create a new experience with you. So if you're the one that's listening to this and you're like, no, I don't want to do it, let me tell you, even by your willingness to do it, that's what you're telling them. And then if you want to go ahead and have this role play date, you're being crazy vulnerable, right? You're eliciting
You
so
both
much
kind of
trust.
are. Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, it's got to be like you're really vulnerable and in trust. And that's great because that's showing high levels of emotional intimacy, like the trust and vulnerability and communication and connection. And when you have those high levels of emotional intimacy and then you blend in ideas like fantasy and novelty and playfulness, that's when it gets crazy hot. And
Yeah.
that's what we encourage you to do. So, of course, the role play dates that I create are a lot of information because I want you to have a lot of information to be able to feel like ready for it. But then, Monica, I also can't make too much information that you feel like you have to read a
Right,
script.
because you have to be using your imagination as well.
Yes,
You have
yes.
to
And we don't.
put, you have to inject a piece of yourself into the role play. That's what makes it so
Mhm.
special.
Or that, or I love that. Or like the character we're going to tell you a little bit about. And oftentimes you're already a little bit like that person and it's just going to come more to the forefront. And it can be really fun because for our role play date scenarios, sometimes the wife is the pursuer and sometimes the husband is the pursuer. And in some dynamics of a relationship, maybe let's just go with like the typical one that we always think that the husband's always the pursuer, which we know that's not always the case. But it can be really erotic for the wife to get a chance to be the pursuer and for the husband to be able to feel that. So there's a lot more than just like, oh, it's novelty. It also is giving you a chance to feel that like pursuing and experience those first date butterflies that you wouldn't experience. But again, in these role play dates descriptions that we give you, you have a totally different username and password than what your spouse does. So when you read it, we tell you exactly what your spouse knows about your role and responsibility and exactly what they don't. So if you don't love something, you don't have to do it. And then there's no unmet expectations because
Hmm.
that's the last thing we want to do is have these unmet expectations. Because if you knew everything that they were supposed, like your partner was supposed to do, that's not going to feel very fun
Right.
if it didn't get there. Like that's the whole part of like disconnection is often unmet expectations. And we don't want to fuel that. We're trying to build connections. So just remember that the whole reason we did that is to help you change anything that you don't love, adapt anything, and then most importantly, it's because we implement these like unique surprises, twists and turns into the role play date that sometimes you're probably not going to think up all on your own. And that's what is crazy hot. Just trust us. There's a whole spice it up section that is flirty and fun and no explicit language or imagery, but we do give some pretty good suggestions.
Okay, there's like three things that come to mind when you were just talking that is just like
Yes.
made me laugh and got me excited. The first one is I keep thinking about these clients who like they come to me and they're like, "Oh, we just, we're just totally in roommates." Like I use roommate syndrome in all of my branding. So a lot of couples that I work with, that is the feeling. They feel like they've gotten in a rut, that they just each one of them kind of they're living parallel lives and they don't connect very often. And usually when we hit like the breakthrough, like we've been working together for a little while, and we hit the breakthrough, like what was the thing? They'll always say, "We had this night and it was so unexpected." Like it was like I was in bed with a different person, right? And then the other person's always like, "I didn't expect it either." It was like both of us just like, what happened, right? And so they have this night that just like totally breaks through all of the monotony. And that's where they kind of find that spark again because they're
Yeah.
both like, it was so unexpected. And so I can see role play dates being like a big, huge driver for that. It's like all of a sudden you had this wild night and you were like, neither of us was like ourselves, right? We just totally let go. And it was like
Yeah, just blame it on me. I mean, she told me to.
Yeah, it's so yeah, it's like it was like a script, but we were using our imagination and we had this night, right? So that was like the first thing that came to mind is like, yeah, it's a pattern interrupt. It's like you have this evening that you're like, whoa, that was totally unexpected and like so awesome. So that's one. Number two, I think one huge aspect of a really good sexual relationship or experience is this playful energy that you think of kids on the playground. They're just
Yes.
exploring, right? They're using their imagination. They're getting into character. Like you see, they'll like we have this thing in our basement that it's like a little house with a thing. And like it's so fun to watch little kids, because we have big kids now and they don't use their imagination as well, but they'll come over and they'll play like tea party or restaurant or something through this like it's so fun to see them use their imaginations and like
Yes.
as adults to like tap into that playful, imaginative energy. That is the life force, right? Like that's your
Right.
creativity. I always say sex is it's like the creative process. You're
I
literally
do
create
too.
you're partnering with the creator to create life. Like that's what you do, but you're also using your imagination to and creativity to like that's what really shoots all of that into you is being able to be playful and use your imagination. The great thing about married long-term relationships, you have the opportunity to like, I'm married to my best friend. I know who she is. I love her. And then also she can use her imagination and just like totally blow my mind. And that's so
Yeah.
amazing for both of you to be able to tap into that creative energy. And then the third thing I thought, which is so fun, it's like the best couple, like when I feel so close to my husband, it's like when we have all of these like inside jokes. It's like when we've watched a movie that nobody else has seen, or like we're using a line from like something that just the two of us understand, or we have like a code word. I love, I'm all for code words. I love
Absolutely.
code words, right? It's like when the two of you share something that nobody else is privy to. And
None.
that's what you're tapping into when you're out at a restaurant and you're both in character. You are living this like inside joke that nobody else is a part of. And that is so hot.
So with that being said, like these small, so we have a section in our role play date. So you've had it, it's over. And then we have something called the follow-up. And these are like small little nods towards what the experience you just had. So like for example, let's go with The Maid. It's one of my favorites. It's super hot. It's really fun. The woman is the pursuer. But as any good maid would have, she's gonna have a feather duster, right? Like, because that's just gonna be necessary. And you're really playful with the feather dusters in your experience with your spouse, and it's really fun. So like the next day or the day after, you're going to take a couple of those feathers and put one on his front seat of the car or one
Oh,
in his jacket. So these are just like little inside
reminders.
jokes and reminders of what's happening. And then his follow-up, which would be they have these like comment cards in their hotel because you want to be able to like showcase a really great employee. So he's going to fill out this comment card that we've created that you would print off, and then you would like you're obviously going to, if you're the husband listening to this, you're going to rank her 10 out of 10 and give her like tell her exactly how she made you feel, how she made your stay better. So these are like the small little things after the fling that just tie it back up together, that is just like you mentioned, like an inside joke or just like little favors to make it last even longer than that one role play date when it was over. This is just something that just brings a little bit more attention. And I promise you, next time you're at Target or something and you see a feather duster, you're just gonna kind of like suddenly be standing a little taller and giggling inside because you remembered that role play date.
Oh my gosh. One of the hallmarks I feel like I feel like doing what I do, there's a few things that I really emphasize, which is like, live your life in a way so that at the end of your life, like when you're old and you're sitting on the porch swing together or you're walking in the neighborhood hand in hand, you want to be living in this energy of, gosh, we have lived such a cool life and you have these memories, not the expensive, elaborate vacations. I mean, that'll be part of it, like oh, all the things that we got to do together, right? But how do you create novelty and fun and memories out of just the mundane? Like we went out to dinner, right? It's like if you just go out to dinner, that blends into like the all the times you went out to dinner. But if you had like a really great role play date. It's like the two of you are just like giggling and laughing together. Like, remember when we did the maid role play date? Oh my gosh, that was so fun. And you're old and you're reflecting on this life well lived. Like, that is the goal. Like, that is the happily ever after. It's like, it's that sunset walk when the two of you like barely can do it. You're holding each other up and you're
Yeah,
laughing about these experiences that you had together that, like, again, nobody else was a part of. Like, that is your life. It's your love story. And so literally, if my goal with this episode, and I'm so just this is so fun just talking to you about this, but if nothing else, I hope to convince you to just try something new together.
yeah.
See what happens. Like, see what this could do for your relationship and just the creativity and fun and connection and intimacy of your life.
I love it. I know there's so many new things that you can experience, whether it's a role play date or, ordering something as simple as ordering something different from the menu that you know that you love something else, but you're going to try something different anyways. Like it's just tapping into that energy of your willingness to try. And sometimes that can just be enough, is your willingness to try.
Yes. Okay, Katie. So I'm guessing you've got two camps of people that are listening. One is like, oh my gosh, like I'm nervous, like this sounds crazy, but like I kind of want to try it. So like I'm excited. And the other person is like, yes, this is the answer I have been looking for. Tell them how they can get role play dates.
Thank you. So you're going to want to visit faithfulfling.com and you will sign up. You and your husband or your wife will share one subscription. And then you'll have different usernames and passwords, and it's completely free for 21 days. If you don't love it and it's not something you want, just cancel within that 21 days and your card will never be charged. We're hoping that you love it. We have over 50 flings or role play dates on our site. So there's so many different ones that you can choose from. And what you'll do is you can just pick out a bundle. You can purchase 1, 3, 6, 12, however many you like, and you'll have access to that. So once you open that site, these flings are reading like a little teaser, just like you would in a library. You pick up a book and you read the back. Just gives you a quick little synopsis of what you might experience. And remember, though, we can't can't spoil everything. I wanted to also mention this. We are a role play date. That's what we do. But we did realize that some people really wanted the same attention to detail, all of those same practices or surprises that we offer, but they want to act as themselves. So we offer something called fringe dates. So we have 4 of them right now on the website. And this is when you act as you and your husband acts as themselves or your spouse. And then you still get some ideas of what to do. We'll give you like how you could set up a scenario. We create the same sexy, flirty surprises that you're not going to think up on your own. And you just get to be by act as yourselves. Again, we are a role play date, so that's why we have so many more, but we wanted to foster to a couple of those, couples that are wanting to still try it, but want to do a fringe date instead. And remember, the first fling that you get, the first role play date is a fling. So it's a role play date and it's called the test drive. It's super hot. It's really fun. That's the one that you did. And you can't go wrong with that.
It's really
But
fun,
you
you
can
guys.
also follow along on Instagram. And I just can always help you find the perfect role play date too. We categorize them by like surprises for her or him, going out, staying home, but they are just hitting lots of different fantasy elements. Not all of them are like the maid where there's like a typical costume or something. I would say that more than half of them are not like those kind of fantasies like it's a blind date or an instant wild attraction, or we have one called double booked where you hop into an Airbnb space and suddenly you're there and so is somebody else, and what
Oh
else are
my
you gonna
gosh,
do,
that's so
it's like your
creative.
own little rom-com movies all over, and you get
Yes.
to just like it's
Oh,
the best.
I
So we
watched
have
a
so many
Christmas.
ideas.
It was like a Hallmark movie. Like they both bought the same. They and if one of them left, they would like leave. They
Yeah,
would
I
forfeit
mean it
her.
was just certainly not an option. And I know you said get lucky. We do have a flirty fun St. Patrick's Day fling as well.
In
Oh,
real time, the moment this comes out, tomorrow's April Fool's. What a fun way to be like, I got something for us to do. It's going to be so much fun. It's a little bit out of our comfort zone, probably. I'm guessing for
Yeah.
most couples, this is going to be like a little out of your comfort zone, but let's just see what this does for our relationship.
There's not a lot of growth in comfort zone, okay? I will say stepping out of that will expand you and help you to learn something about yourself as well as your spouse, whether it's a role play date or anything else you try new.
Okay, I know we're landing the plane, but I just got so excited about this other idea because I talk a lot with my younger clients, couples, especially when I work with younger clients. One of the things that I really focus on is how your thoughts create your reality, or the meaning that you make out of things creates your reality. And so many times, this analogy works so great, is your thoughts are kind of like clothes. You can try on thoughts like you try on clothes, right? And so if you want to have a really fun, sexy night out with your spouse and you put on a big oversized sweatshirt and sweatpants, probably not going to match, right? And so what I think is so fun about this that I realized like after my husband and I did this role play date, I was like, it was so fun to try on getting dressed in a way that I wouldn't normally just
Yep.
walk into my closet and like put on this outfit. But I was like, no, I got to get into character and like, what would this character wear? And it was fun just getting the opportunity to try something completely out of the ordinary, out of my comfort zone. And I had like the perfect excuse to do that because I was
A
getting
little
into
bit like mental
character.
foreplay too, right? Like
Yes.
your ability to get ready for, a situation, your date night is just like just builds anticipation, builds a little mystery and intrigue because they're not standing next to you getting ready. They're in a different room because you can't reveal your look until it's time.
Yeah.
Like for that one, he's literally gonna ring your front door. Like
Yeah.
he is going to walk outside of his house and then
Ring
ring
your
the
doorbell.
doorbell and you're going to answer it. Like it's
Right.
so fun. Like those are just small, silly things that maybe sounds like, oh my gosh, no, do it. Like just try it. It's free. It's fun.
Yes, I love it so much. Okay, so if you're still with us, if you listen to the end, I cannot recommend this enough. Like as your resident marriage expert, if you're listening to this podcast, you probably think that I know stuff. I am telling you, I am giving you the prescription. You should try this. It's zero obligation, 21 days for free. You get the date that I'm literally talking about. It's so fun. Give it a shot. See what happens. If you decide you don't like it, you're free and clear. And if you decide you do like it, now you have all these other options of fun. Look through it. You don't have to, you can take turns, like you pick a role play date and then your spouse picks a role play date, and you just have fun to like get to try on these different personas and just really get in touch with your erotic mind. Katie, I love that you've done this. I love that you have the creativity that I could never tap into. It's like such a
I don't
talent.
think that's true,
But we
but
all
thank
get to
you.
benefit from your imagination, your ability to write these scenarios that are just really, really fun. So I encourage you, if you're like, and we've been married a long time and, we're just kind of going through the motions, see if this is enough. You don't need therapy. You don't need to like come see me or anything. See if this is enough to just pop you into like, wow, that was something very fun.
That was pretty hot. Yeah, you never know till you try.
It could just totally reignite something different. So thanks for coming, Katie.
Thank
You
you.
gave the link, and we'll have it all in the show notes. And
Absolutely.
yeah,
Faithfulfling.com.
people think like Tom. Okay, so exciting. Thank you so much.